Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment, as now former Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator Arthur Smith has been named as the new head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. Congratulations to Arthur Smith. And people, no matter how you slice it, no matter how you dice it, no matter how you try to rationalize this in that head of yours, this is a significant loss and hurt for this football team. I mean, the man, the last 2 years has led 2 top 10 offenses in the NFL. I think last year we were 12th in yards, but when you consider the fact that Ryan Tannehill didn't step up until week 6, and for the rest of the season, we were one of the top offenses in the NFL. And then this year, we were second in yards, and I think we were second in points and like 4th in yards. I mean, people, the guy was a great offensive coordinator for this football team. Now, there were times, and there were plenty of times and moments, where you could question a play here, a play there, a decision here, a decision there. I still don't know how we did not run a third, or at least run the ball on a 3rd and 2, and why we didn't go for it on 4th and 2. That's Mike Vrabel right there. But obviously there was a lack of offensive communication there and play calling and decision making that I didn't agree with in the playoff game against the Baltimore Ravens. We can look at those little plays here and little plays there. But we had a 2,000-yard rusher in Derrick Henry this season. We had a 33 passing touchdown thrower in Ryan Tannehill to only 7 interceptions. We had A.J. Brown cracking 1,000 yards, and Corey Davis would have cracked 1,000 yards too if he was awake for the last couple weeks of the season. But he wasn't. He was asleep. So, the guy led a great offense. He took rookie A.J. Brown over 1,000 yards, turned him to a Pro Bowl wide receiver second year, and an elite wide receiver, according to me. In my opinion, is the only one that matters. Come on. So, the guy was a great offensive coordinator, and the greatest offensive coordinator we've honestly ever had. I mean, honestly, people, really that we've ever had in Tennessee Titans history, that was the apex. Can we do better? It's going to be difficult. But without a doubt, Arthur Smith will be missed. What he contributed to this team this season and last was absolutely terrific. And he will be sorely missed. And I have a lot of Atlanta Falcons fans that want to know, what should they expect from Arthur Smith? Is this a guy that's going to lead them to the Super Bowl? I don't know. But what I do like as it pertains to the Falcons specifically is he will move more towards running the ball. Now, I'm not sure Todd Gurley has much of anything left. I know some of you had him on your fantasy teams and he got you touchdowns early in the season. He's lost his speed. He's lost his burst. He's lost a lot of his athletic ability. I'm done with Todd Gurley in this league, and the Falcons should be too. So I'd expect for them to move on to a younger, more exciting running back to lean on the run game more to alleviate pressure from Matt Ryan. And this could be a very dangerous combination. So I have my eyes out. Arthur Smith is a guy that's been with this organization for now, I want to say a decade. Just working his way up through the ranks, staying over from coaching staff to coaching staff. He was under Mike Munchak. He was under, dear God, Ken Wisenhunt, may he rest in peace. He's not dead, he's just dead to me. He was under Mike Mularkey and under now Mike Vrabel, and now being the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. He survived all of those coaching staffs. Why? Because the guy made an impression. And I know some people, have their thoughts on him just because he is one of the 10 children of Fred Smith, the owner of FedEx. I mean, when you're one of 10 children, he might have been a little spoiled growing up, but the guy's huge into football. That's his move. That's his thing. I don't know if he's a genius, but I think he's very offensively talented. I think he's gifted when it comes to the offensive side of the football, and I'm excited to see what he does in Atlanta. Now, will he be the guy to galvanize a locker room, to be the leader of a locker room, to be the disciplinarian that he may need to be from time to time, or will he have problems relating to players? I don't know. That's something I don't know, and I can't tell you. I don't know the man. I just think it's a good hire. I like the odds, and I think he will be missed in Tennessee. Arthur Smith now being the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. But what does this mean now for the Tennessee Titans? That's the question. Where do the Titans go from here? Who will be their offensive coordinator moving forward? Because Arthur Smith is now gone, and there is not currently someone to replace him that we really know of. Maybe Mike Vrabel has been grooming someone, but he hasn't come out and said that. So who are some potential candidates to take over for Arthur Smith at this offense coordinator position? Now, here's the thing. We haven't interviewed anyone yet. I've just heard rumblings of people, and I just have a big generic list of a bunch of names. When you're talking about a head coach candidates, you can narrow it down to 10 names, right? Right off of the bat. You can pretty much do that. Offensive coordinator, oh dear God, 50 plus. So there's going to be people on this list that you will say, oh, why are they on this list? You should have included this person instead of this. Is just a generic list. It probably won't be one of these people. Mike very well probably have someone from Ohio State, some random guy, I don't know, who he's going to call up, some random guy he played with on the Patriots. Who knows? Whenever we actually hire someone, I'll be on here to make a video about it. But this is a generic list of people that I think we should look out for as it pertains to some offensive coordinator candidates. Now, let us begin with the inside candidates, with the candidates coming from the inside, the internal candidates, as some would say. And there's an interesting number of people here. And we begin with the offensive line coach for the Tennessee Titans, Keith Carter. Now, this is my thing with Keith Carter. Fantastic results this year. Okay, when it comes to pass protection and run blocking, despite the injuries to Taylor Lewan, Roger Saffold being in and out of the lineup, despite losing Jack Conklin and Dennis Kelly coming in at right tackle at the beginning of the season, this offensive line is even better than it was last season. We've seen the maturation of Nate Davis. We've seen Ben Jones really come into his own at the center position. The offensive line was off at the beginning of last season. Now, we can blame a lot of that on Marcus Mariota. He was holding on to the ball too long. His pocket movement wasn't great. Okay. The offensive line was awful at the beginning of last season. Point blank period, it was. 2018, it had its problems too. And, I don't know him. I don't know what his his role has been for this team. And in terms of the offense, rarely does an offensive line coach really have the ability to call plays or the interest to. Because if we really wanted any offensive line coach in the world to coach this offense, you know who I'm calling? Mike Munchak. Okay? Because Mike Munchak, hey, you look back now at 2011 through 2013, you say, hey, wait a minute, maybe that guy's pretty good. Because he was able to win 6-7 games with Jake Locker and Justin Hunter, who shouldn't be in the league, aren't in the league. Okay, now you're looking back at that guy and saying, wait a minute, maybe that guy was pretty good. Because that Matt Hasselbeck offense was the best offense we had until the offense we have now. So maybe that guy's pretty good. So if there's any offensive line coach, maybe that's the guy I call. So I don't know if Keith Carter has played calling. I don't know. But the one that I do, actually there's two on this coaching staff that I do. One is quarterback coach Pat O'Hara. Okay, this guy's a former Arena Football League head coach. He's also had some other, passing game coordinator duties and play calling duties. This guy has play calling experience. Also, tight end coach Todd Downing, who was actually the offensive coordinator for the 2017 Oakland Raiders, who, by the way, went from 12-4 the previous year to 6-10 in a very disappointing offense in 2017, resulting in the firing of Jack Del Rio, their head coach. So I don't know how good this guy is. Now, I don't think that 2017 Raiders roster was scheduled for success, was primed for success. They had the decaying corpse of Marshawn Lynch. They had, I think Jared Cook, who's all right. They had nothing outside of Marshawn Lynch at running back. The offensive line was trash. This was right before the Raiders really began their rebuild. And then the next year they were god-awful. So I'm not sure how much you actually blame Todd Downing for that. So, after that, he's been able to do some decent things. Maybe he's done enough in the tight end room for you to say, hey, I like this guy. Let's promote this guy. I think I would leave it up to Mike Vrabel here, because here's the deal. Whenever we promoted Arthur Smith to the position after the departure of Matt LaFleur a couple years ago, people questioned Arthur Smith. Why are you promoting Arthur Smith? Who is this guy? Can this guy call plays? Who is this guy? And he did a fantastic job. So I think, again, you have to rely on Mike Vrabel here, just here. Now, it's still ridiculous that he did not get a defensive coordinator this entire season. No, make no doubt about it. I'm not missing that point. But because he had the great promotion of Arthur Smith, if you got another promotion from inside, internally, at the offensive coordinator position, I would say, okay, let's see what happens. I'm here for it. You have my eyebrow raised, and I believe you, okay? And that belief will move quickly, okay? It will dissipate quickly if you're wrong. But if you're right, again, it will be another notch in your belt, Mr. Vrabel. So those are the two internal candidates. And then we begin to move outside, and things get interesting. So people, here's my stance. And I don't know if he's going to do this, and he probably won't, because I think Mike Vrabel wants to be the alpha in the room. So I don't think he would do this. But I'm picking up the phone, and I'm calling Doug Peterson. I want Doug Peterson in Nashville, Tennessee. And you can call me crazy. I am. But I think the guy would do great here, and I think it'd only be for a year or two. Probably only one. Because I think this guy's hungry, I think he's mad, and I think he got screwed over by Philadelphia and the Eagles. That organization is so toxic. The man delivered a Super Bowl now, it will be 3 years ago, and they've completely thrown him away like complete and total trash. They've given him no talent offensively, drafting J.J. Arcega-Whiteside and Jalen Reagor at the wide receiver position. You know, they've had injuries to Carson Wentz, to Miles Sanders, to their offensive line, in and out of the lineup. You know, their tight end position, although talented, they've dealt with injuries. I do not blame Doug Peterson for how the Eagles offense has become. He took Nick Foles to the Super Bowl and allowed him to throw for, what was it, over 300 yards and 3-4 touchdowns, and a miraculous performance in which he outplayed Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, to victory in the damn Super Bowl. Yes, that was only 3 years ago. I want that guy. The guy that got Carson Wentz to play at an MVP level, and now we don't even know if Carson Wentz is a franchise quarterback anymore. Yes, that's a guy that I want. I think that guy's pretty good. I think he's pretty good. Now, I know Frank Reich had a lot to do with that, but I still believe in Doug Peterson, because even the year after they went back to the playoffs, they won another playoff game against Chicago with Nick Foles again. I think the guy can play. I think the guy can coach, and I think Howie Roseman is really the one to blame in Philadelphia. Derek Barnett hasn't worked out. You know, we talked about J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Jalen Reagor. They've not been drafting well. That's what's to blame in Philadelphia. I would love to have Doug Peterson here. I think the only problem with Doug Peterson is he doesn't run the ball. Okay, at least he hasn't. Now, I think this is because, in large part, the Eagles haven't had running backs. You know, Miles Sanders, he can run the ball pretty well, but he's 60-40 in terms of running versus receiving. You know, 60-40, maybe 65-35. And then they had the decaying corpse of Jay Ajayi, who's now, I think, out of the league. He should be out of the league. So that was just a decaying corpse. Of course, he's not going to run the ball with Jay Ajayi. And then Darren Sproles. They haven't had real running backs. Jordan Howard. Would it be a fit with Derrick Henry? Okay, that I don't know. I don't know that. But what I can tell you is I think our passing game isn't going to go to zero like it has been occasionally when we needed it most, like in the AFC Championship game against the Kansas City Chiefs, like in the wild card game this year against the Baltimore Ravens. I believe in that passing game more with Doug Peterson. So I would pick up the phone and call him. And then he could help Mike Vrabel with some of the decision making because, you know, we have seen Doug Peterson in those huge moments make big decisions to win a Super Bowl. So I'd love to have that. So we also have some other names here. Tim Kelly. So this is the offensive coordinator currently for the Houston Texans. He was, I want to say, the tight end coach for the Texans whenever Mike Vrabel was there. The guy led, middling offenses with Houston. Got Deshaun Watson to have a great year this year, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, just like Ryan Tannehill, by the way, despite a trash offensive line. So this guy has not been given a good offensive line. Despite that, he's led the Texans offenses the last 2 years to very strong offenses, especially in the passing game. Again, can he run the ball? I don't know. But he tried to this year with David Johnson. He really did try to. So I'd be interested in this guy. And he has the endorsement of Deshaun Watson. And there's a reason why the Texans are planning on interviewing him for the head coaching job. So Tim Kelly, I like. Bill O'Brien. Now, this is dangerous. And I'm not really particularly here for this one. I don't even know if he wants to do it. I don't know if he can call plays. This one's just volatile. We will cross that bridge when we get there. I wouldn't love it. I wouldn't particularly hate it either, but I wouldn't love it. Anthony Lynn. Okay, so Anthony Lynn, former head coach for the Chargers. Now, he was never really an offensive coordinator, play caller. Now, he was a little bit of a play caller, but he was never a big offensive coordinator at all. He was a running backs coach that turned into the Chargers head coach. Now, I think he can, prescribe a great running game for us and Derrick Henry, and I love, what he did in terms of his influence for Justin Herbert. We're led to believe this season, but we don't even know that because he didn't even want to play Justin Herbert. Remember how it took him until week 2 and 3 to actually play him? Yeah, and actually endorse him and say this is our starting quarterback. Okay, little shady. But then how about Pep Hamilton, who was the quarterback's coach for the Chargers this season? You remember that name. That guy was a former offensive coordinator for the Indianapolis Colts, 2013 through 2015. A guy that has been known as one of the better play callers in the league, one of the young, brilliant minds in the league. Pep Hamilton. And what he was able to do with Justin Herbert this year has my attention indeed. So those are some interesting names for sure. And then you just get into a whole assortment of people. Doug Marrone, Darrell Bevell, Dave Canales, who I want to say is he is the passing game coordinator, should be, for the Seattle Seahawks, and he might be promoted to being offensive coordinator, but he's done a great job with Russell Wilson the last 2 years, so I'd love to look at Dave Canales. Darrell Bevell, I liked him as the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks years ago. Now, he was part of the decision to not run the ball in that Super Bowl. Ridiculous. So that's, one blemish on him. But he did well, to me, with the Detroit Lions offense this season, and even as the interim head coach, at least offensively. And I've liked Darrell Bevell for a while, so look at him. Doug Marrone, I wouldn't be that excited for it, but it would allow Mike Vrabel to still be the, alpha. So here's the thing. I could have listed a lot more people than this. There are candidates on candidates. The list will be narrowed down. We're interviewing this guy, that guy. It's an important hire, though. And remember, when I gave my list for head coaching candidates in 2018, actually, this was January 2019. This was 2018, January 2018. I wanted Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur did not do well. But he's now doing well for the Green Bay Packers. Sometimes you just never know. And I think we're going to blame a lot of that on Marcus Mariota. Sorry, Mariota. As to why the Matt LaFleur thing doesn't work out. But I trust Mike Vrabel, because at the very least, Matt LaFleur has gone on to do great things. Arthur Smith going on to do great things. So I trust Mike Vrabel with this decision. With a defensive coordinator decision, hopefully we can make a sound decision on that one as well. So there you go. Those are my thoughts on Arthur Smith becoming the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons and some potential offensive coordinators for the Tennessee Titans moving forward. What are your thoughts? Comment down below. I want to know. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and most importantly, to subscribe. And until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment, and I'm out. See you all later.